There's something nobody tells you about money, something that no financial advisors mentions, something that no budgeting app can fix. And it's this. The reason most people struggle financially has nothing to do with how much they earn. It has nothing to do with the economy. It has nothing to do with bad luck or poor circumstances or not working hard enough. The real reason is something much closer to home. It's your brain. Not because something is wrong with you, not because you're broken, but because your brain was built for a world that no longer exists. A world where the future was uncertain, where saving made no sense, where spending everything you had right now, today was actually the smartest thing you could do. And in that world, your brain's instincts kept you alive. But in today's world, those same instincts are quietly working against everything you're trying to build. And until you understand how, you will keep making the same financial decisions, wondering why nothing ever changes. To understand why your brain keeps you broke, you have to go back, way back, before salaries, before banks, before money even existed. For thousands of years, human beings lived in a world of uncertainty. Food was not guaranteed. Safety was not guaranteed. Tomorrow was not guaranteed. And in that environment, the brain developed one primary goal: survive today, not next year, not in 10 years, today. And the brain got extraordinarily good at this. It learned to prioritize immediate rewards over future ones. It learned that a bird in the hand was worth infinitely more than two in the bush. It learned that spending resources now was smarter than hoarding them for a future that might never come. Psychologists call this present bias, and it is one of the most powerful forces in human psychology. It's why you know you should save, but spend instead. It's why you know you should invest, but keep the money in your account doing nothing. It's why you know exactly what the right financial decision is and still choose the wrong one. Because your brain is not making a mistake, it's following programming, very old programming, written for a very different world. And the first step to changing your financial life is understanding the software you're running on. Let's talk about something your brain absolutely loves: dopamine. Dopamine is a chemical your brain releases when you experience something rewarding. And here's what most people don't realize: your brain releases dopamine not just when you receive a reward, but when you anticipate one, which means the moment you open a shopping app before you bought anything, your brain already starts to feel good. The browsing itself is the reward. The adding to cart is the reward. The checkout notification is the reward. And by the time the package arrives, the dopamine hit is already fading because the brain got what it wanted: the anticipation, the chase, not the thing itself. And this is exactly why shopping feels so good in the moment and so empty shortly after. You weren't buying a product, your brain was chasing a feeling, and that feeling cost money every single time. Now, here's where it gets even more personal. Most people don't just spend for pleasure, they spend to escape. When work is overwhelming, you buy something. When a relationship feels difficult, you treat yourself. When life feels out of control, spending gives you a moment of control. A moment where you decide, where you choose, where you feel powerful, even if just for a second. And your brain learns this pattern very quickly. Stress arrives, spending follows, relief appears temporarily. And so the next time stress arrives, your brain already knows the shortcut. Spend something, feel better. This is called emotional spending. And it's one of the most common, most misunderstood, and most financial destructive habits people have. Not because they're irresponsible, but because they're human. Because they're using the tools available to them to cope with feelings that feel unbearable. The problem is, those tools come with a price tag. And over time, the relief gets shorter, the spending gets bigger, and the financial damage gets harder to undo. Your brain has another setting that quietly destroys finances, and the social media has turned it all the way up. Humans are weird for comparison. It's a survival mechanism. In Asian tribes, understanding your position in the group meant understanding your safety. People at the top of hierarchy had more access to resources. So your brain learned to watch others closely, to notice the gaps between your status and theirs, and to feel uncomfortable when you feel behind. That discomfort was supposed to motivate you to compete, to contribute more, to rise in the group. And in the small tribe of 50 people, it worked. But today, you're not comparing yourself to 50 people. You're comparing yourself to thousands every day on a screen that shows only the best moments: the vacation, the upgrades, the new cars, the renovated homes, the restaurant diners. And your ancient brain processes all of it as social competition and sends you a very clear signal: you're falling behind. Do something. So you spend, not because you need to, but because falling behind socially feels like a threat, even when it isn't, even when those people are in debt, even when those pictures are filtered, even when the lifestyle is financed by loans you can see. Your brain doesn't know that. It just sees the gap, and it wants you to close it at whatever cost. Here's a fact about your brain that will change how you see financial decisions forever. Losing $20 feel approximately twice as painful as gaining $20 feels good. This is called loss aversion, and it shapes almost every financial decisions you make, whether you realize it or not. It's why people are afraid to invest. The possibility of losing feels more real, more painful, more threatening than the possibility of gaining, even when the gain is statistically more likely. It's why people stay in bad financial situations, because changing feels like losing something familiar, even when what's familiar is hurting them. It's why people hold on onto bad purchases, justifying them long after they've realized they were mistakes. Because admitting the loss feels worse than pretending the decision was right. Loss aversion keeps people comfortable with discomfort. It keeps them choosing the known pain over the unknown possibility of something better. And financially, this is devastating because building wealth requires accepting short term discomfort for long term gain. And for a brain wired to avoid loss, the trade never feels worth it until you understand what's happening. There's one more thing your brain does that keeps people financially stuck, and it's called the scarcity mindset. When people feel like they don't have enough money, the brain shifts into a very specific mode, a mode of tunnel vision, where all mental bandwidth focuses on the immediate shortage: how to cover this month, how to pay this bill, how to get through this week. And in the tunnel, everything outside of it disappears: long term planning, investment thinking, wealth building strategies. They all vanish because the brain has decided that survival right now is the only thing that matters. And the cruel irony is this: the scarcity mindset makes it nearly impossible to make decisions that would eventually end the scarcity. Because when you're in survival mode, you can think like a wealth builder. Your brain won't let you. It's too busy trying to keep you alive today. This is why financial stress is not just emotionally exhausting, it is cognitively exhausting. It takes up mental space, it narrows your thinking, it makes every decision harder, and it creates a cycle. Scarcity creates stress. Stress narrows thinking. Narrow thinking creates poor decisions. Poor decisions create more scarcity, and around it goes. So, what do? You can't remove these instincts. They're part of being human. But you can design your life in a way that works with them instead of against them. Your brain is not your enemy, it is extraordinarily sophisticated. It kept your ancestors alive for thousands of years, but it was not designed for credit cards, for social media, for a world where the future is more predictable than the present. And now that you understand how it works, you can stop fighting it and start working with it. Because the most powerful financial upgrade you can make is not an app, not a spreadsheet, not a higher salary. It's understanding your own mind. And designing your financial life around your brain actually works. Because when your environment is right, your decisions become easier, your savings become authentic, and your financial future becomes something your brain finally wants to protect. This is the Asian Broke Diary, where we talk about money psychology the way nobody else does. Honestly, simply, and without judgment. Because understanding yourself is always the first step.